This is People and Their Poems, a podcast about the poems that make a difference in our world. In each episode, writer and educator Sandy Carlson talks with a person who has been influenced by poetry and become a poet or a supporter of this literary form. Stay tuned.
Welcome to People and Their Poems podcast. I'm Sandy Carlson, and I'm here today with Jim Kelleher of Goshen, a poet and educator who is here to tell us about an exciting Zoom event coming up in December. Welcome, Jim.
Hi, thank you. Thank you.
So tell us what you got. What's going on?
So on December 15th, which is a Thursday, there is a free, completely virtual reading at 7 o'clock in the evening. And we're trying to get as many people as possible through our local libraries. The reading is being sponsored by libraries, public libraries, on the theory that it's not only the holidays, but libraries support literacy. And literacy, in turn, is the foundation of democracy, reading and writing, and making careful decisions and being able to access information and use it. So this reading is going to be poetry, because some people think poetry is a high use of language, a formal use of language, which should reflect the very best of our human experience. So we come together during the holidays to celebrate and to reflect our values. So this reading is headlined as a holiday peace reading, and it will feature poet laureates, the very best of our local poetry crowd, including Sandy Carlson. We're going to have Rennie McQuilkin, who's our Connecticut Poet Laureate Emeritus, and two women from West Hartford and Canton, Jenny Connors and Joan Hoffman, who are now Poet Laureate Emerita, if I have my Latin straight. See, I knew there was a reason when they drilled Latin into me in ninth grade that I would use it someday. And there it is.
Yes, the moment came.
Yeah. And then we've got poet laureates from, well, I mentioned Sandy from Woodbury. Got poet laureates from Litchfield, Ridgefield, Bethel, New Milford, and I left another town out, I'm sure. And also poets from Torrington, Harwinton, and Goshen. Those three towns do not support a formal designated poet laureate, but we pull poets out of those places anyway, because they're everywhere. You won't have an opportunity to hear anyone at length, because with 10 or 12 people reading, I mean, we can maybe sneak in one really good poem with a little glossing and a little introduction. But I think it'll be fun. Both the libraries and the poets have been very receptive.
What is their other libraries' role outside of the Oliver Wolcott hosting the Zoom?
Well, all they really need to do is promote the event in their own publications and websites. It brought up a secondary issue for me. I said to myself, now that Zoom is a part of our lives, why don't the libraries share their Zoom events all the time? Duh. But I mean, they can do it with this one. It only requires one library to sponsor the Zoom link. And as long as other libraries are willing to post the link in the event, then people in every town can have access to the Zoom events that their own home library is sponsoring. It's a way to bring a lot more material to a great many more people. And it's all free. But of course, public libraries are basically intended to be free. They're intended to be a place where people can share books, and you don't have to pay for them. And since there's no requirement other than to show up and get a card, you don't have to pay for this privilege. This brings us back to the principle that it's a democratic foundation stone, that everyone has access to it. It's public.
Absolutely. Libraries as marketplaces for ideas. It's tremendous. And I think Zoom bringing so many people together from such a vast geographical area. I mean, there's some mileage getting covered in that Zoom link virtually with the range of people that you're talking about. And yet they don't have to spend a penny on gas. They just need to go to a room with a computer and turn the thing on. And
Yeah.
I think that's a tremendous opportunity that you're establishing for us.
No concerns about weather, no concerns about COVID or flu. You just click on at 7 p.m. and hopefully it rolls. The people who are reading are exceptional, so I'm sure it's going to be a good show.
Right.
Everyone is different. Everyone has a different style and a different idea as to what they want to say. But all these people are very, very accomplished, truly accomplished.
The people you mentioned also represent a diverse range of poetic styles, life experiences, age range. So there's quite a diverse range of experience and insight that you're talking about too.
Very much so. Well, what they have in common besides poetry is that they're residents here in the state, and they make it their responsibility to promote poetry and literacy within their own towns.
That's great. I'm glad you're the impetus behind this. If people are interested and they want to be with somebody at a poetry reading around the holiday time, they can be together virtually, or even have some people over to your house and listen to the poetry.
Absolutely. You can just go to the Oliver Wolcott Library website and find it there.
All right, Jim. Well, this is terrific opportunity for everybody to hear some living poetry and be connected around the holiday time through something very, very worthwhile. So thanks for putting this together.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for your efforts to promote this.
Sure thing, Jim. We'll see you around the neighborhood.
Okay.
This has been People and Their Poems, a podcast about the poems that make a difference in our world. Be sure to check the show notes for any special links relating to this episode. If you want to learn more about the podcast, visit peopleandtheirpoems.net. Or if you want to learn more about Sandy and her work, visit sandycarlson.net. Thanks for listening.